Uttarakhand Chief Minister Pushkar Dhami, who has spoken to Prime Minister Narendra Modi at his residence. His first reaction right after he steps out. He says he's yet to receive the UCC committee draft, but of course a lot of deliberations on UCC being implemented by the BJP government, an aggressive push and a pitched statement that the Prime Minister has also given on the Uniform Civil Code, a very recently spoken at an event where Prime Minister spoke about UCC, about having one common law for the country. The BJP ahead of 2024 really racing into it. Pushkar Dhami, the Uttarakhand Chief Minister, meets with the Prime Minister after a day after meeting with Home Minister Amit Shah. In fact, the reason being that it's likely that Uttarakhand Civil Code will be used as template for the central law. Is that the likelihood? That remains to be seen. But in fact, the Uttarakhand Civil Code draft will be submitted to the state government by the expert committee, and once that comes, it appears that that might just be used as template by the centre to implement this law across India. Now, there's been a lot of debate on the intention of this law itself, on whether or not it should be implemented. The BJP has been now in power for 9 years. It has been their poll plank right from the start since 2014 to now. Prime Minister Modi has insisted on the Uniform Civil Code, but hasn't been implemented because not all parties or all stakeholders with regards to this have come on the same page. But it appears that 1 year ahead of 2024, there's been a steady acceleration on the Uniform Civil Code to be implemented. Prime Minister Modi fronting it. He's met with Pushkar Dhami, spoke to him about the Uniform Civil Code and the nuances of how the Uttarakhand government has formulated a civil code draft. When Pushkar Dhami gets the draft, he's going to submit that to the centre. That's the likelihood. First images coming in of Pushkar Dhami meeting with the Prime Minister on the Uniform Civil Code. In fact, he met with Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister, along with the Home Minister Amit Shah as well, a day prior. This comes in the backdrop of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his high-pitched statement, where he really raised the discussion on the Uniform Civil Code, making it quite clear that this is certainly on their agenda. They do want to implement it. Discussions are currently underway, and to start with, Uttarakhand, the Chief Minister itself, Pushkar Dhami, has met with Prime Minister to see and suggest, if at all, Uttarakhand's template, the civil code that's currently being drafted by their state expert committee, will be applicable and could it be implemented across India. Maushmi joining us for a little more on that. Maushmi, give us an understanding on Pushkar Dhami, the Uttarakhand Chief Minister, meeting with Prime Minister Modi on the Uniform Civil Code. It appears that there is acceleration on the UCC implementation by the BJP, and the Uttarakhand's template could be used pan-India. Once it's drafted, it will be presented to the centre. So hectic developments towards UCC.
Absolutely, we asked that question to Pushkar Dhami, the Uttarakhand Chief Minister, and clearly, Nabila, he said that this is the Dev Bhumi, and often auspicious start is made from the Dev Bhumi, Uttarakhand, and that's one reason that surely the Uttarakhand will serve as a template for the rest of the country. When I asked him whether the Prime Minister was in the knowledge of the fact that the Uttarakhand government had completed its entire exercise, the Committee on Uniform Civil Code had actually completed its draft report and very soon will be handing over the final draft to the Uttarakhand government. He said the Prime Minister is very keen on this subject, and because he is very keen, he surely would have the entire information as far as the UCC is concerned. So Pushkar Dhami's Delhi trip, raking up the entire political debate over Uniform Civil Code. He met Amit Shah yesterday, and today he met Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Interestingly, when he was briefing the press, he didn't mention Uniform Civil Code at all. Only on a counter question by the media personals, he highlighted why and how Uttarakhand could serve as a template.
Tell me more, if there is some understanding on the Uttarakhand expert committee formulating a draft. Maushmi, do we know anything of that? Do we know on the way and manner in which the expert committee is deliberating on how to have a uniform law for all religions? It is of course huge deliberations that need to be carried out, a lot of discussions, a lot of detailing that should go into it. So any word on how Uttarakhand has drafted this or has put together this expert committee in the first place?
Absolutely, Nabila, the fact is that it's been 1 year of exercise, several deliberations, 140 meetings of the subcommittee, public opinion from Dehradun to Delhi, consulting people of Uttarakhand origin, starting the entire exercise from Mana, the tribal village, the last endpoint of Uttarakhand, and coming down to the plains where there is mixed population in Haridwar and Udham Singh Nagar. So clearly, if you see, Nabila, there have been a lot of discussion by the expert committee. The expert panel said they've concluded the entire draft on 30th of June. So they will be publishing that, printing that out and handing it over to the government. So Pushkar Singh Dhami, they're responding that it is going to be very soon that the Uniform Civil Code could see the light of the day in Uttarakhand, and therefore, could be a framework for the other states to emulate.
Well, this is a framework for other states to emulate. Would you believe? In fact, what's surprising here, Maushmi, is that not all opposition parties are against the Uniform Civil Code. The Aam Aadmi Party has given a nod in principle, saying that they are with the implementation of the Uniform Civil Code. So it appears that there is a certain amount of support that the BJP also receives when it comes to the UCC at large.
The road ahead is not so easy if you look at it in the fine print, because, Nabila, on one hand you have the political debate where there are lots of ifs and buts over the support that the opposition parties like the Aam Aadmi Party or the Uddhav Sena is giving. There are ifs and buts about what happens to the tribal community, what happens to the northeast community, what happens to the Sikh community, will they be excluded? The chairperson of the standing committee at the centre himself said that the northeast and the tribal should be excluded. Then the opposition members who are against the UCC said, what's the point? There's no uniformity then. It should be this Uniform Civil Code if you are excluding the tribal and the northeast. And there are lots of ifs and buts over the Law Commission's previous report that said this is neither needed or desirable. So lots of ifs and buts there, and clearly, Nabila, there will be a lot of ironing out of hurdles for the government. As far as the centre is concerned, the Law Commission is concluding its own suggestions and report and will be handing over to the Law Ministry. That could take about 4 or 5 months, and Uttarakhand could in fact be the first one before that to put the Uniform Civil Code out on the ground.
Well, let's see how that works out. But Maushmi, thank you very much for joining us. The Uniform Civil Code pan-India. Uttarakhand Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami is the first to meet with Prime Minister Modi. In fact, the expert committee chief as well has met with the Prime Minister to explain on whether they can use the Uttarakhand model across India. The debate over UCC, of course, rages on as Modi government holds several meetings to bring this reform. They are on top speed now, top gear, to ensure that UCC is implemented. A day after meeting Home Minister Amit Shah, Uttarakhand Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami met with Prime Minister in the national capital, and in fact, Dhami himself has been batting for UCC. He's formulated an expert panel in his own state, and a draft is currently being prepared. One of the committee members who prepared the UCC draft in Uttarakhand also accompanied the Chief Minister today, right now at that meeting with the Prime Minister.